Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are for question number 2 of our little magical homework help. Question 2 asks, what is the distance traveled by a car going 70 miles per hour for half an hour? This one's one of my favorites because it requires you to be a quick person on your feet. Here we go. So we're doing the average speed formula again. V equals d over t. I've got to identify where my stuff is. I'm looking for distance this time. Interesting. This time I have a speed of 70 miles per hour. I know that because anytime I see miles per hour, we're referring to a speed. And then half an hour, that is my time. Okay. I've got 70 miles per hour equals d over t. Well, I know that my time is going to be 0.5 or 1/2 of 1 hour. 0.5 hours right there. So a lot of kids ask, Mr. Sawchuk, why do you do 0.5 instead of 1/2 like this? And the reason is you can't. You don't do that whole fractions inside of fractions thing. This is not fraction inception. It's just math. So we're going to go ahead and just use the decimal version. Alright, this is bad. Don't ever use that. Let's go ahead and math this bad boy out. I know from Mr. Castros' class that when I get a fraction and I need to figure out one of the variables, all I need to do is look at it and see which kind of a problem it is. In this problem right here, I need to invert and multiply. Invert, if you've ever watched Top Gun, means to flip over, and multiply, if you've ever gone to school, means to multiply. So let's go ahead and flip this bad boy over. So I have 1 hour over 70 miles is equal to, I guess now I need to do my multiplication part. Distance over 0.5 hours. Well, now I'm going to chop the hours up. Oops, I'm not on screen. So I drew this, flipped that bad boy over, made it multiplication. Distance is still there. Hours gets cross-canceled. Now I've got 70 miles times 0.5. So now I'm going to just write this bad boy out. So here we go. 70 miles times 0.5 or 0.5 if you're somebody who prefers that. 0, 35. And we must not forget that happy little decimal right there. Decimal activated. So we've got 35 what? I'm expecting you to figure that out based on what was available here from when we cross multiplied. Now, let's go ahead and take a quick look-see over here at my graph. I've already set it up in 35s because 35s are a nice number that we are using as part of my halfway point here. So starting with 0 there, this one tricks a lot of kids a lot of times because they want to put 35 at 1 hour like that and then 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. That is actually incorrect. If you do that, you are doing it wrong. Because we see in the initial problem that it is 70 miles per hour. 70 miles per 1 hour. So now I'm going to go ahead and just mark where 70 and 1 hit. Then I'm going to go to the next spot that 70 more and 1 more hit. I'm going to go to the next spot where 70 more and one more hit. 70 more, one more. 70 more, one more. And then I'm going to have a question from a student.
But Mr. Sawchuck, why don't you put the 35 where the 1 is?
And I'll tell you right now, it's because the problem isn't calling for a whole hour, it's calling for half of an hour. So half of an hour is only going to 35 miles per hour. If the car is traveling 70 miles per hour and it only goes half of that distance, it can only go to 35 miles. Now let's go back here. If you want to be super nifty, you can mark where that 35 mile point is on each of the graph points on here. Not everybody will. Some people will be like, nah, Mr. Sawchuck, I'm too cool for that. And maybe you are.